Oof, well, here goes nothing. Hiding or running away from what brings you fear or discomfort is not strength. Facing it is. And that explains why I'm here now, doing this. Streaming. Something I've never done before. I have no idea how some people on Twitch can keep streaming for like 12 or some ungodly amount of hours. So I'm gonna start out slow. I'm gonna do an hour. I'm gonna at least do an hour. So by the time it's 9 o'clock here, that's Central European time, this will be all over. And then I'll have a record to show myself how much I suck at it. Or who knows, maybe I'm pretty good at it. To also give me another buffer of sorts. It's not just going to be my voice. I'm probably going to take a small break, play some music, take a piss, something. But yeah, I'm here talking into the void. I purposely didn't tell anyone I was doing this. Yeah. Just so I can practice. Practice makes perfect. I guess that's how those guys on Twitch can go for 12 hours or more. Practice. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's actually watching right now. I guess maybe it'll feel better if I think that no one is watching. Because then it's just me talking. Anyway, on to what I actually wanted to talk about then. Where's this video? Make sure it's picking up the audio. Well, let's hope it is. Where is it? Makes a leader. Kreia recounts the Mandalorian and Jedi Civil Wars.
It is a tale you already know well.
Yes,
Almost a decade ago, the Mandalorians began preying on the Republic.
Obviously, you can't see the video. But you should be able to hear the audio. Thought I heard something just now. Anyway, this isn't the important part. Let's skip ahead.
Mandalorians defeated at Malachor 5.
5, yes.
Revan and Malak, and all the Jedi
that served them, yeah.
The Republic still bleeds and struggles for life.
It sure did.
Where Revan wanders now, I do not know.
No one knows. Still, that's not the part. Let's go skip.
The Jedi Civil War left wounds that have yet to heal. We shall see if the Republic has the strength to survive. It is some nation in conflict. They find themselves or
Wait, hold on.
They tested. A culture's teachings, and most importantly the nature of its people, achieve definition in conflict. They find themselves or find themselves lacking.
I remember I was talking to my brother about that. A culture finds definition in conflict. Now, that conflict doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be a war. It doesn't have to be a violent conflict. It could be kind of the conflicts you see in like Western society today, where, well, even though they are at war, there's also a different kind of war, a culture war they try to call it. But really, I think it's something that every generation seems to go through, since every generation comes in with new ideas, and the older generation who fought so hard to implement their ideas want to hold on to their ideas. And then round and round we go. But still, conflict is it's not the most comfortable thing, but it's something that absolutely needs to happen in one way, shape, or form. Hopefully not a violent conflict. Hopefully we can just have it be non-violent, cultural, where it's just words, ideas being thrown around. And then hopefully we reach some sort of equilibrium in the end. Or most likely we'll just end up implementing new ideas, and then the next generation comes along with their ideas, and the old generation tries to hold on to the ideas they tried so hard to implement. Anyway, moving on.
Too long did the Republic remain unchallenged. It is a stagnant beast that labors for breath and has for centuries. The Jedi...
That's another good quote, where someone left a message, well, not a message, but a comment on one of my videos that basically laid it out very succinctly. And I took a screenshot of it and put it on my Twitter. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. Oh, whoops. There it is, yeah. He said, it's weird, he says, as the old saying goes, but I've never heard this saying. Yeah, well, I'm sure it's an old saying somewhere. As the old saying goes, hard times make strong men. Strong men make better times. Better times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. Very well put. Because of course, when we take the Republic, she's saying that because they've had peace for so long, they're not ready, they're not equipped to deal with a massive threat like the Mandalorians. Makes sense. But then how do you strike that? Because everybody wants peace. Everybody's fighting for peace. How do you strike that balance where you can remain vigilant and prepared and in shape in case or when eventually a threat comes along? You can't. You can't, not unless you have something to fight. But then you end up being the Sith, because the Sith just end up fighting themselves. Well, their teachings tells them to fight themselves, to constantly keep fighting themselves in order to stay on top, in order to prove that you're still the strongest. But that's detrimental because, man, it's detrimental, but it has its ups and downs actually. Because on the one hand, you have the best of the best. But on the other hand, you have the people who are not the best of the best but could still be useful, dead. So you can't keep fighting yourself either. So I think maybe in the end we just have to accept that this is another one of those circular things in life. That you make the world a better place. But then if something comes along, people are not going to be prepared for it. Nothing apocalyptic, mind you, which is just, I'm sure they'll make it through it, but once they make it through it, then it's the struggle that it creates that creates stronger men. And even if you say it like that, the strength that you acquire in war is the strength to kill people. But of course, conflict doesn't have to be war, which means this culture war that we're experiencing right now is in and of itself making us stronger. Let's keep going.
Jedi Order was the heart that sustained its sickness. Now the Jedi are lost. We shall see how long the Republic can survive. The Jedi Civil War cost the Republic much. The resources of the Sith seemed limitless. The Republic's was not. Fleets of warships, soldiers, and people were lost. Entire planets were decimated. their inhabitants dead or refugees. It is a great burden for any civilization to bear.
Yes. Their inhabitants. That's another thing people are talking about a lot these days. Refugees. Because war inevitably creates refugees. And when there's so many of them, you know, we're talking refugees on a galactic scale, then, yeah, I imagine a civilization, even for the Republic, can be really hard, but what are you going to do?
And this new threat, it is a quiet thing. Unlike the Jedi Civil War, it drives at something deeper than the strength of the Republic. It is aimed at you. The Republic was never what was important, ever. It was but a shell that surrounds the Jedi, just as the teachings of the Jedi are a shell surrounding the heart of man.
See, that's interesting. That's what I really want to touch on. The Republic is a shell that surrounds the Jedi. I know exactly what she means when she says that the teachings of the Jedi are a shell that surrounds the heart of man. Because the Jedi teachings tell you to basically almost be borderline sociopathic. Don't feel any emotions. But at the same time, they teach that you should use your power to help people. But then you're only helping people because you're told to. Without your emotions, you don't really care about the people you're helping. You just do it because that's what you've been taught to do. That's what you've been told to do. That's you trying to follow your teachings to the letter. But then, what exactly does she mean? The Republic is a shell around the Jedi. It makes it sound almost like the Republic is just a Jedi theocracy, which it isn't. But that the Jedi are what's really important in the grand scheme of things of the Republic. The Republic ran to them when the Mandalorians came along. And yeah, I think it's wrong for the Jedi to be so ingrained with politics, which is what led to their inevitable downfall. Hello? You don't have a name, it's just a random series of lines. I can't tell if the lines are the same length or if it's some sort of optical illusion. I'm gonna go ahead and say that they're not the same length, I guess. That would be the safe thing to assume. Hey, I've been playing around with Streamlabs, and yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate what I do too. Except, yeah, I don't really do it for a living. I wish I did, but I don't. But thanks. Oh, check this out. I've been playing around with this today, trying to set it up. I set up this, so when I get a new subscriber, this happens.
Even when the figure deserves no such obedience.
See, I think that's pretty cool. Get it? You know, you give me a subscribe to me, you follow me, but it's like her saying that I don't really deserve it. But, because I don't. She says you don't deserve it, but you do work for it, is what she says. And this is when someone makes a donation.
You are greater than any I have ever trained.
That's pretty clever, I think. But yeah, so I've been setting that up. There's a ton that you can do with this Streamlabs thing, but I haven't figured it all out yet. Oh well. Let's see what happens. I don't know about this. This one. Yeah, I still have to set that one up. I don't really know what it is. It says sponsor, but I didn't know you can get YouTube sponsors. Or sponsors, whatever. Anyway, what was I talking about? Shell surrounding the Jedi. Right. The Republic is a shell surrounding the Jedi. But then, I gotta think about that a bit more. Let's keep going.
You see, the war, the true war, has never been one waged by droids or warships or soldiers. They are but crude matter, obstacles against which we test ourselves. The true war is waged in the hearts of all living things, against our own natures, light or dark.
See, now that's very interesting. She's basically saying that wars, it kind of mirrors something that's said in Deus Ex. Like I made that video about Deus Ex where the guy says that the war, the violence is just an extension of people's definitions of things breaking down or not agreeing with each other. Basically saying that
you are greater than any I have ever trained.
Oh, what the hell? I can't even see it. I really had to thought this through, but I think it said barcode. Wait, your name is Barcode? Oh, damn, man, $15. Thanks a lot. You know what? I really had a... Wow. Thanks, man. God damn. I hope you don't mind me taking the Lord's name in vain. But now oh, it's right here. I can see it. Oh, good. Then I have to look at the screen. But yeah, $15, man. Damn. What am I gonna do with that $15? I guess I'll bank it for now. But hey, man, thanks a lot. You know what I gotta do? I gotta set up this this Streamlabs thing. It can let me set up this little like progress bar, like a goal. I've seen those around. And I gotta come up with some sort of, well, I don't have to come up with any goal. I have goals, but I'll see what I can do. You know, it's interesting you say that. I watch my own videos too, many times, except not right after I make them, because if it's an especially long video, then I don't want to see it again for at least a couple of days, because you know I've been on it over and over again. Kind of like my favorite musical artist said. He says that he never listens to his own music, which makes sense because you know he spent all that time making it. But yeah, sometimes I put my playlists on and have them going. It's really good because like some of my Crea's Conundrums videos the ideas for them came from me just watching my own videos and realizing, so, you know, like, I forgot she said that. Kind of like how I'm talking about this one now, but actually the next Crea's Conundrums I'm working on came the same way. I was watching Crea videos and I was like, oh man, because it relates to the previous Crea's Conundrums I made, Nexus, and Crea basically mirrors a lot of what I said. And I was like, man, if I had remembered that video, then I could have incorporated it in the previous one. But then again, it lets me make another video. But I haven't started writing it yet. I'm still gathering information. A guy actually left a comment on the Nexus videos that got me thinking a lot. I'm going to talk about those as well. What was I talking about? Let's go back a bit.
Or soldiers, they are but crude matter, obstacles against which we test ourselves.
Right. Sometimes I hear something again, but because I am in a different mindset from the last time I watched, I pick a new bit of meaning from it. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. That is a good point. I should try that. Usually I just put put my videos on when like maybe I'm doing something else. Like usually usually when I'm in a similar mindset where I just need something on the side. But then, maybe I should try watching it when I'm in a different moods. Just to see what happens. That's a good point. Thanks for that. What was I talking about? Right. Wars. Where violence is just an extension of people disagreeing. Well, more like not having the same truths as the other. But lots of times those truths can just be selfish things. Like, I deserve to steal your natural resources, or I deserve to just conquer your land. And the other guy's like, no, you don't. But then if you go back to the Crusades, then it's like, we deserve this land because, you know, our religion and places associated with it are on your land. Thus, we want it. Man, that was messed up. They could have just visit. Oh well.
The true war is waged in the hearts of all living things against our own natures, light or dark.
Divine right, yes. That's a very tricky one because it's so it's so unverifiable. Where yes, you're saying that God wants you to have this land, but the only person saying that is you. Unless God himself is telling you and everybody else that it's your land, I can't just take your word for it. Can I? And it's a tough one because in those days, you find yourself with two or more sides that would use the same argument. One would say that it was divine right, and the other would also claim divine right. And then you end up with people dying. Oof. But it may seem like an idea that comes from nothing, but people give everything to see it done. I mean, it comes from nothing. What does it come from? Then you have to go all the way back to where does the idea of a God comes from? Because I do believe that people will worship something no matter what. I was thinking about this just now, where people would worship like their country or their country's laws, or their constitution becomes their religion. You won't call it a religion, but it functions like a religion. And the idea of a God is something that came from observation and observing, the world around them. But then, yeah, it snowballs into, not just because a religion, just like everything else, usually is formed with the best of intentions, and eventually someone comes along and perverts it and uses it for, their own, for their own selfish things. Am I wanting something from a live chat? Well, at this precise moment, all I'm trying to do is use it to practice speaking. I live alone. I'm kind of a hermit. I don't actually open my mouth much, except for if I make a video. And on Saturdays when I make the static videos, But apart from that, I don't get any way to consistently speak. Unless I go visit my brother, but I can't do that all the time. And also, hopefully one day, I might be able to start streaming me playing KOTOR or something, because I was going to play and commentate the first KOTOR to practice. I made a video about it of me trying. I don't know how well it went. I mean, I got plenty of views, I got plenty of reactions on it. But hopefully one day I'll be able to do it live. And I figured the best way to do it is to try speaking without much, if any, help. And see if I can. I was really nervous leading up to this, believe it or not. Clicking that go live button, I was a nervous wreck. But then I just kept repeating that quote from Kreia, of like hiding or running away from that which causes you, discomfort isn't strength. The only way to get through it is to just do it. Don't think about it too much. Just do it. Just go. Just do it. And now here I am, speaking in the void. I'm almost a half hour in, and I promised myself I'll keep going for a full hour. Yeah, well, in some cases there is a try. Like, I am trying to do this, but yeah, then again, I am doing it. So I guess maybe you're right. I either could have not done it, or I'm doing it. In fact, I was actually going to do this 2 weeks ago, but I kept hemming and hawing and kept making up excuses. And then today I finally said, screw it, just do it. Just click the button, just go. Hello, Frank. Thanks for joining us. Oh yeah, let me show you what I got set up here. When I get a new subscriber, this happens.
Even when the figure deserves no such obedience.
You get it? And also when I get a donation, which Barcode most generously just did with $15, thanks again, you see this.
You are greater than any I have ever trained.
That's very sweet. It reminds me of what Chris said about talents and skills. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're welcome, Frank. Thanks for being here. Because I always consider that the difference between talents and skills is a talent is something that you're born, you have a predisposition towards doing it well. But a skill is something that you, or basically anyone, can learn how to do well. So some people are born, like all those people I talked about who are on Twitch or YouTube, who can who can do marathon streams. They can just keep going for hours. They have a talent for it. Well, they have a talent for the endurance of it, at least. Whether or not they're good at it, well, that's for other people to decide. But it is also a skill. The more you do it, the more comfortable you become. I already feel more comfortable now than when I started. In fact, you might be able to hear it from the statics and the Kreia's conundrums that I progressively became more comfortable speaking into the microphone as I went on. Just by doing it. And that's how you develop the skill. You just have to do it. And that's harder than it sounds, especially in the beginning when you're just trying to work up the nerve to actually do it. It's like talking to women, I guess that can be a skill too. Well, not really, because if you talk to women, you can shed the fear of talking to women, but I guess you won't necessarily ever be that good at it because everyone's different. You don't know what. No one has a universal thing that everyone reacts well to. So it's still a coin toss, but you can at least get more comfortable doing it. Anyway, what was I doing before? I think I'm done. I think this is over.
That is what shapes and binds this galaxy, not these creations of man. You are the battleground, and if you fall, the death of the Republic will be such a quiet thing, a whisper, that shall herald the darkness to come.
Yeah, Jesus, no pressure, Kreia. Thanks. But wait, something she said. Hold on.
That thing. You are the battleground.
You are the battleground. Meaning the exile. The exile is the linchpin in everything that happens in KOTOR 2. Yeah, I guess she is. Which is an odd thing to think about. Because when people ask, I've heard people ask the question, do you think that one person can change the world? And the Star Wars universe, they usually tell you that one Force user can change the entire course of the galaxy. But does it necessarily have to be a Force user that does it? Maybe because the Force flows through all things, but even in the real world, we've seen certain extraordinary individuals change the entire course of history. Just that one person. They were the catalyst to all of it. Whether good or bad, because we've seen both. You've had... Yes, practice makes perfect. If you run the obstacles and setbacks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. Not really, but you know it's gonna happen. Yeah, even Kreia made mistakes, many mistakes. One of her most major mistakes was going to the Sith, or becoming a Sith Lord after she was exiled from the Jedi. But then again, if she never had done that, then she never would have discovered her new truth of her hatred of the Force. Oh, don't worry about it. And so that's the one thing that really, really sticks with me, is how Kreia, especially at the end, tells the exile that she has to make a choice, but all she asks is that she does it without regret. Because that's really the one biggest thing that can hold people back. It holds me back all the time. Just thinking about all the times I've messed up somehow. You have to acknowledge you screwing up, your mistakes, your failures, and you have to learn from them. But to just hold on to that regret, it can cripple you. So the best thing to do is to just let it go. Hold on to the teachings, but don't let that regret cripple you. Just talking about time to someone that... time is it? 35 minutes in. I need a drink. Okay, I guess this is gonna be the first break. Let's see now. I have to pick a song to play. Oh, there's a nice song. Enjoy. I'll be back in 2 minutes. And we're back. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Pewter City from Pokemon Crystal. Pewter City. Pokemon Crystal. The best Pokemon game, in my humble opinion. Why? Well, mostly because of that battle tower. I love that battle tower. Yes. I am drinking crystal clear, sparkling lemon cactus. That's lemon cactus. It's really good. Why? Because I like the taste and it's very low in sugar. Basically 0 sugars, but it's still sweet enough to, you know, taste really good. Even though I've been gradually trying to go back to water, I still can't get enough of this crystal clear, sparkling lemon cactus. I'm not getting paid for this. Yes. Oh man, that sounds terrible. You dropped it in a glass of milk. My God, you got a whole class dedicated on milk? Did they teach you how to like pasteurize it and such? Did you milk the cow yourself? See, I've always wondered how they do that. How exactly do you have to squeeze down on those others? And does the cow enjoy it? I guess we'll never really know. I'm just kidding, of course. I know you meant to say glass, which is worse. Yeah. But something you said earlier. Did the main character in Mass Effect have ultimate fate? Ultimate fate. Wait. Faith? Do you mean Faith or Fate? Fate. Because those are two different things. I'll write this down. If you meant this kind of fate, that means there was there was an ending that was unavoidable. But if he had ultimate faith, that means he believed in something. What did Shepard believe in? They never touch on Shepard's religion. Well, I mean, how could they? You're the player character. But they never gave you well, they did give you one opportunity, actually. In the very first game, when you speak to Ashley Williams, you can tell her whether or not you believe in God. But it doesn't change anything after that, though. Oh, like that? Oh, well. Yeah, I imagine he did. Yeah, I imagine he would. Especially as an N7 soldier. Although, well, believe that the galaxy was worth saving, or you could make a Shepard that leaned more towards believing that humanity was worth saving, but not necessarily the entire galaxy. Again, going back to the very first game, did you decide to save the council or not? Because if you did save the council, then you're putting the entire you're putting all the sentient races on a pedestal, not just humanity. Which in turn, I guess you could say that he believed that the entire galaxy was worth saving, and not just humanity. Because, I mean, of course, in this term, the galaxy would be the people in it. Because the galaxy itself was going to be fine. The planets and such, what they call the Reapers, they weren't going to touch those. They weren't going to destroy any planets. Nobody else could have done what Shepard did. I'm not so sure, but I guess from the perspective of the player, no, I guess he was the only one who could. But then, again, Shepard didn't exactly have force powers. Unless he did, and he was a vanguard or something. You know, he had a, what was that technology called again? Those abilities. I can't remember. But yeah, they slipped those in. And as you can see on screen now, Liara Tassoni. Her entire race has those powers. But they weren't exactly Jedi. Did they have the mindset of Jedi? Not really. And they weren't a religious organization either, even though they could be. But the Shepard is built like a Jedi, in the sense that he, as one man, was able to direct the course of the galaxy, I suppose, yeah. Do I think the Reapers are like the Force? Control over people and molding them to their whim. The Reapers mold people to their whim in a very indirect way, because they don't exactly mold people, they mold their technology. People discover the Citadel and those structures, I'm forgetting the names right now, the structures that allow FTL travel, and they start basing their technologies off their observation of those, which makes their technological process predictable, making it easier for the Reapers to, you know, kill them. That is true. But if the Reapers are like the Force, well, again, in the reverse, yeah, the structures that, you know, puts a Mass Effect field around an entire ship, reducing their mass to 0 and allowing faster than light travel. But I can't remember what those structures are called. Mass relays, that's what they're called, the mass relays, yeah. But yeah, then we have the reverse here if we're comparing the Reaper to the Force, because the Force is very subtle. The Force is almost like how we think of the Illuminati, if it exists. They don't micromanage, really. They push, they influence, they change the slightest little thing to make the biggest thing happen. But the Reapers, well, yeah, they're much more direct. They come in, they're like, okay, this has gone far enough, and they kill every advanced civilization there is. And then they leave and then come back when the next advanced civilization comes around. So, you know, they have a specific programming. The Force seems to also have a programming, but we don't really know what it is. And I don't think we will ever know, nor should we. The rule of 2 Sith eras in Illuminati, that's a pretty good comparison. Especially considering how it ended up, with them at the highest seat of power, you know, in the form of Sidious. So yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. There's something else earlier. Some ideas. Where's drinking from now? Where's the light and dark? No, that's it. Let me play that talents and skills video that we were talking about earlier.
When I spoke of sight before, there is a similar handicap that tends to occur among those strong in the Force. They neglect their skills. Some believe they no longer need them. The greatest wielders of the Force are those that maintain some grounding to the more physical realities of the universe.
Right, that's very true. Kind of like, and when she says that, it makes me think of, actually, it makes me think of Anakin Skywalker. because yes, he was strong in the Force, but he was still a very skilled pilot and mechanic. And he never lost sight of that. He kept doing it. Even when he became Darth Vader, he kept, one of his favorite things would be to work on a ship. And so yeah, the greatest, like she says, would be the people who, like she keeps telling them, don't rely on the Force. So of course, she would consider the greatest people to be the people who you have the Force, they use the Force, but they have other skills and or talents.
Wielders of the Force have mastered piloting, others the ability to fix and repair and build, from simple moisture vaporators to more complex machines such as droids and vehicles.
Actually, I'm thinking I think the writers, Chris Avellone and such, were actually making a direct reference to Anakin Skywalker here.
One's ability to understand the human body and its ailments, for example, can make your powers within the Force more complete, more powerful, when you attempt to repair the cellular damage of another. And others have mastered the more subtle work of politics, persuasion. Do not doubt that a galaxy may be conquered with words, a republic overthrown, and an empire made, when such...
Right, like Sidious. But Sidious didn't become Supreme Chancellor because of his use of the Force. He couldn't. How could he? Maybe it could have helped him here or there in some way, shape, or form, but mostly if you want to grow and become at the top of the political world, you need to be a very good politician. And that's what he was.
Skills are honed. One's abilities with the Force become that much stronger. My warning...
But then she says that if, almost like she's saying that if you practice skills disconnected from the Force, your powers in the Force will in turn become stronger. Instead of forming the armies to the Jedi, they mastered other traits like that of scholars, politicians, bankers, even chancellor. Right, exactly. Things disconnected from the Force. Things that can't be... I don't know, you always have to think, like, what if a day comes where this isn't here anymore? Almost like what happened to Kreia herself and the exile. One day, boom, no more Force powers. Now what? The skills in the Force and skills out of the Force perhaps balance out? Maybe. Or maybe it has more to do with, like, I don't know, like someone's state of mind or something, or it just gives you new ideas. Kind of like how a writer, when you get writer's block, the best thing you could do is go do something else. Maybe it would just inspire you in ways for you to use the Force better, or in different ways. I don't know. I have to think about it. Keep going.
Warning to you is this. Do not rely on your companions to compensate for your weaknesses in skill. There will be times they will not be there to help you when needed.
I mean, that's just a foreshadowing, basically warning you that in this video game, there will come a time where you're gonna be left alone, and there's not gonna be anyone there to help you, which is exactly what happened. Malachor. Hell, even before Malachor, right after you confront the Jedi Council, boom, you're alone. And in the cut content, you're alone as HK-47.
What skill would you say is your greatest strength? And what skill would you say is your greatest weakness?
You know, I don't know what my own greatest strength is, but I guess my greatest weakness is what I'm practicing right now, speaking. Or speaking, just speaking basically. Because I'm not a guy who talks a lot. Even in company, I'm not the guy who really talks that much. Unless I feel like it or I'm very comfortable. But which skill would I say is my greatest? I don't know. What am I good at? I don't know.
Take your greatest weakness, devote effort to it, strengthen it, and
see, that's what I'm doing right now.
I will show you how it shall strengthen your power in the Force. As you learn and train and test yourself against the galaxy, all your skills have a chance to improve and grow as well. When you devote some of that training to your weakest skill, you will know. All situations contain within them the potential for violence. To know how to hold that violence in check, to restrain it, and use it to hold the situation to your advantage is the way of any wielder of the Force.
That's very interesting. Wait, what? You still think of M? What's M? But yeah, what she says here, she says every situation has the potential for violence. I suppose so. But it would require 2 or more people. Because you're not gonna beat yourself up. But every confrontation, every exchange has the potential to become violent, but she says to make that violence not happen, to hold it in check and still manipulate the situation in your favor. That's what you want. I suppose because that's what everyone wants. Because anyone can just start beating someone else. Anybody can turn to violence. But not everyone can still achieve their objective in a more subtle and more productive way. And in fact, at the heights of such an achievement, you could make sure that both you and the person you're interacting with can both walk away happy. That's like pinnacle of that success.
Skill does not always draw from the Force, but
exactly. Skill does not always draw from the Force. It can, but it doesn't always.
It is a measure of power nonetheless. It can grant knowledge, help steady oneself when one's thoughts are in chaos, or grant enlightenment.
Right. Kind of like when you lose your ability to use the Force. You've been using the Force all your life. All of a sudden it's gone. You're like, oh, what am I going to do now? But then you can just remember, wait. I am good at that one thing. I can't rely on that one thing. And it calms you down. Unless the confrontation is internal, yes. But then again, I don't know if you're gonna... Well, actually, you're right. You might not necessarily start beating yourself up, but you may bring harm to yourself.
Which can be achieved without the Force, as you know.
Wait.
When one's thoughts are in chaos, or grant enlightenment, much can be achieved without the Force, as you know.
Exactly. Much can be achieved without the Force, as you know, the exiled. Why? Because she just lived for the last, 10 years without the Force, and still, here she is. She went around, she wandered, she survived. And the people all those like Republic soldiers and politicians and such, people who don't use the Force at all, they still get ahead in life. You can do a lot without the Force. And it could also beg the question that having the Force limits you in certain other capacities. That because you have the Force, you can't be good at something else. The same way that you can only learn certain things if you live without the Force.
No, life continues, persists, and may be helped or harmed as a result. Right. Now I am tired. Leave me to my meditations.
Even without the Force, life continues and can be... Wait, what she says? Yeah, it can be... Life can thrive, but it can also be harmed by not having the Force there. It's like you never stop playing the game. You're playing it always, but you carry it with you. Oh yeah, kind of like the same way people. Hey, hello. Hello, old child, please. So you should learn of the Force after you have maximized your potential and grounded skills. Not necessarily maximize your potential. I think just by practicing in your grounded skills, you could end up figuring out ways to use the Force better. But yeah, it's like I never stopped playing the game. In a way, yeah, the same way that like a profound book or movie can kind of stick with you. And the greatest example of that is like the holy books, like the Bible, for example, where people read it and it changed their life, and they based their entire life around it. It's like they never stopped reading the book. And a lot of people literally carry it with them always. You know, they sell like those pocket Bibles. I always wonder how people read them though. I mean, the font must be so small. Oh well. Wow. 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, I made it. In about 20 seconds, I've reached an hour speaking into the microphone. And signals being sent across the world at the speed of light allowed you to hear me. You know, I don't like the sound of my own voice. That's random. Oh, there it is. Hey, an hour. And I guess that's it. I figured I can do this every Sunday. Although Sunday can be ASMR. Shit. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can. How's this? I have no idea what that sounds like, but hopefully I'll put you to sleep. Wasn't there a movie about that? I think it was there was this movie called Private Parts. And the guy would basically make a couple of sounds, and he had what's that guy called? He had a radio show, an actual radio show, but then he made a movie. See if I can find it. Where he would just make some noise in the microphone and women would start taking their clothes off. Howard Stern, yeah. I saw that movie back in the day, 1997. I was popping boners all over the place. But yeah. So while you guys are here, check this out. I set this up. When I get a subscriber, this happens.
Even when the figure deserves no such obedience.
Yeah, that's right. And when I get a donation, which Mr. Barcodes here has generously done at the beginning of this happens.
You are greater than any I have ever trained.
That's pretty neat, right? Yeah. There's a lot you can do with the Streamlabs thing. I'm gonna keep looking into it. But yeah, I was at a cousin of mine's watching that movie. They just put it on. But yeah, it was pretty hot. I don't even remember the plot. All I remember are the tits. But anyway, yeah, I reached an hour, and I might as well go out with another song. I really thought I'd be playing a lot more songs and be talking a lot less, but I actually feel pretty good. This went a lot smoother than I thought it would. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a couple of pats on my own back. About the holy books, though, and how people carry them. We do carry stories that have taught us how to live. Pretty much, yeah. Our entire lives are, well, our personalities are largely, who we are is based off of our environments. Mentally and physically, I might add. That's how we evolve the way we do, because of our environments. What we see other people do, what lessons we take away from them. And that becomes our personality, the good and the bad. Sometimes, some people would say especially the bad. Especially through suffering do we become the person we are. No regrets, just like Kriya says. Don't have any regrets. It happened, and it made you the person you are today. Hello, Rosenblau. My voice is cute. That's a new one. I've never quite heard that particular compliment before. I mean, I think I can do Jigglypuff. Wait, no, I can do Yoshi. And let's say Jigglypuff. Yeah, that's something I can do, I guess. I'm gonna listen back on this. Oh, while you're here, check the. I gotta show everyone this. When I get a subscriber, this. Oh, hey, Arman. Nice of you to join us. This is messed up. I got all these people joining in now, after the hour is already up. But yeah, this is what happens when I get a subscriber.
Even when the figure deserves no such obedience.
That's pretty cool. And this is what happens when I get a donation.
You are greater than any I have ever trained.
See, I thought that's pretty neat. But yeah, okay, we're getting up to an hour and 5 minutes here. What Kriya said before the exile confronts the council on Dantooine. Yeah, she says, if you can't trust in me, then trust in yourself. Trust in your training. Those will never let you down, I guess. Well, technically you can let yourself down. But your skills won't, since you've been practicing them. Actually, Kriya says a lot. Actually, yeah, Kriya says a lot of stuff before Dantooine, which is why I was so surprised after playing the game for so long, after so long and with the restored content mod that showed up, because I kept watching that video of Knights and Darts. You were afraid over and over again, not realizing like what happens before. It doesn't just jump to that. So when I finally got to that to record it, it was like 2.5 minutes of dialogue. And I was like, wow, I don't remember this. Because really, the first time I played KOTOR 2, I was really out of it for some reason. I was young. It just kind of washed over me like water. Yeah, I could listen to Kriya all day too. Sometimes I do. And a lot of people wonder why it is the voice actress Sarah Kesselman Didn't do any more work. Man, I'm just glad we got her that one time, at least for this one time, for this one role, because she was perfect. Someone should try and contact her, man. Space Trippin' Vato of the Stars. Hey, man. Would I ever consider uploading Krea's dialogue for Breath Control and Beast Trick? I mean, if you request it, sure, I could have it up. I could do it. It's not much dialogue, though. It's gonna be like maybe just a few seconds. But if you really want it, I could do it. We all love Krea, but she's far from perfect. Exactly mundo. And we all need to realize that. Nobody's perfect, not even her. How could she be? She doesn't want any droids. She wants people to think for themselves. KOTOR 2 never Kaisars to teach me something new. It deserves to be reconciled. It never ceases, of course, but that's okay, man. Don't worry about it. It's interesting that I said Caesar and not Caesar. I've been playing. I was playing New Vegas for so long, and instead of saying Caesar, they said Caesar, and I was like, what? Why are they doing that? Apparently, it's because in the original, Latin, I guess, it's pronounced Caesar, and that's why the Holy Roman Empire, all the way leading up to the First World War, the Germanic people had the leader who was called Kaiser. Yes, it deserves to be recognized. Recognize. Very true to Kaiser. Yeah, all those memes. Degenerates like you belong on a cross. Which is, man, I grew up Catholic, and that's one thing that I really agree with the Mormons on, the Church of Latter-day Saints. They don't carry crosses. They find it to be inappropriate, and so do I. A cross was a Roman torture and execution device. Why are we worshiping it? Or why would people worship Jesus Christ through it? Then again, I think people focus way too much on how Christ died rather on what he was actually trying to teach us. And why did they focus so much on how he died? Because that's what they can point to and say, hey, that's what he did for me. They always say he died for our sins. Yeah. You know what else he did for you? He taught you things, valuable lessons. That basically boils down to don't be a dick. He was just trying to teach people how to be nice to others, how to be nice to people. I don't know. This got way too theological all of a sudden. About an hour and 10. I don't know if Jesus. That got funny. Christianity is a religion grounded in sacrifice. I suppose. But the point of it is about the word escapes me right now. It's about atonement. But yeah, I think way too many people use it as a crutch, as like back where I'm from, 85% of the population is like Roman Catholic, and you always hear these politicians talk about how every Sunday they go to church. I'm like, all right, you can do that, but What does that mean? That automatically makes you a good person or a good candidate? No. That doesn't mean anything to me. Oh well. Okay, this got way theological. I'm way over the hour mark. Let's play a song. A song that sounds kind of holy, I suppose. Where is it? Oh crap, I can't remember. Oh, is it this one? I'm pretty sure it's this one. No, after this song, I may come back, I may not. But yeah, I reached my goal. I said I would do this for an hour, and I did it. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. So I may do more of this, probably at least once every Sunday, unless I have something to watch, because usually on weekends I watch various competitions. You know, I'm into esports. Let's call it esports, but I'm into fighting games. Competitive. I'm into watching fighting games competitively. So that's what I usually do. But this weekend was a competition in Brussels, so it happened early. It's already over, so I had time to do this. So yeah, like you were saying before, people take ideas and twist them to serve their own ends. Pretty much, yeah. And of course, it's no different with Jesus. It's like at the end of here I go again. But at the end of Assassin's Creed, I think it was Revelations. Well, I mean, spoiler alert. But yeah, at the end of one of the Assassin's Creed games, because you play this guy Desmond, you're given a choice. And one of the choices basically ends with them telling you, if you do this, then you and the people you save who survive will end up they will end up worshiping you as their savior and as their god, basically, and you just end up going in a giant circle where people just end up killing each other again. That's messed up. But the other choice wasn't all that great either. Man. But yeah, here we go. Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining me on this. I'm going to go ahead and archive this. Let it happen. Hopefully this won't get taken down. It shouldn't. I didn't play it. Oh, crap. No. It should be fine. It should be fine. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I will do this again because I really have to keep practicing, especially now when I'm trying to focus more on earning my degree, so I don't have much time to make videos. I can't give up. I have to keep practicing. I have to keep honing this skill of being able to talk. So I will keep doing this. And I kind of purposely didn't tell anyone I was doing this. Oh well. Here we go. Thanks again, and I'll see you later. Peace.